Hey everyone, it's Brett from Misfit Media, and I'm here with Robert Cronfley. He's the co-founder of Bacari. I'm so excited to have you on the show, Robert, because obviously we have some history working together. You have such an amazing story of how you even got in the restaurant space. And obviously you guys have made some really awesome adaptations and changes during COVID-19. But just to kind of start out, how are things going for you guys overall?
Hey, Brett. Nice to see you again. Thanks for having me on. Uh, Things are going okay. Okay, given the situation, um, I think we're doing the best that we can, trying to stay positive. Obviously, it's not as good as when we're open as a restaurant, but it is what it is. Um, as operators, we just try to take whatever challenges are in front of us and take them head on. And this is just another challenge. So uh, uh, we're doing okay.
Got it.
We're doing okay. We have positive spirits, but we'd like to get back open as soon as possible. Also,
Absolutely. And obviously as of now, since we were first working with you guys, so now you guys have grown quite a bit, obviously. I know you got 4 locations now with Bacari. You have 1 Nature's Brew. I know as of now you guys have 1 location closed, but you've converted your other locations into what is it, like a pop-up type market right now for the moment, right?
Yeah, that's correct. When the mandated closures came down because of COVID, um, we had a brainstorm sesh. Kind of, we were sitting around talking like, what are we going to do? Can we survive just doing delivery and takeout of our normal menu? Uh, and then, also part of the conversation was, what are we going to do with all of our inventory, right? We're sitting on a lot of inventory. So coupled the inventory issue plus coupled with long lines at supermarkets and everybody going crazy over toilet paper and empty shelves at the supermarket,
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
said, we have 5 boxes of toilet paper right now, 500 paper towel rolls. So we might as well open it up and start selling this stuff to the neighborhood, get much needed supplies out to the community. Um, and it also would allow us to hire some staff back on. So that's really where the idea started. And we started doing it at the Playa del Rey location. And then we got a really positive response. Uh, the neighborhood loved it. So when we had a positive response at Playa, we expanded over to Glendale. And then again, another positive response in Glendale. So we opened up West Third. So now we're running it out of those 3 locations right now.
Amazing. And I'm assuming your location at USC, the reason you have that closed is because the majority of the market is USC students, right?
That's correct. Yeah,
Got it.
there's nobody really around
Yeah,
doing grocery shopping right now, right? So
absolutely.
we probably wouldn't be doing enough sales to justify keeping the doors open.
Got it.
So yeah, that's the reason that one's closed. And Nature's Brew is the menu's a little bit more to go delivery friendly. So we're just doing the normal menu. We salad, sandwiches, etc.
Okay.
At Nature's Brew.
Got it. So it obviously sounds like you guys obviously knew this happened. You had to make the adjustment. You tested at 1 location. And before you moved to the other location, did you close those down or were you still operating normally? How did that process work for those changes?
Right. Yeah. No, they were completely shut down at that time when
Okay.
we opened up. We did so. I think the first day or two we did delivery and takeout of our normal Bacari menu, um, but it just wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough
Yeah.
to keep the doors open, cover our overhead, and get some staff back. So we that's when we started to really have those conversations and get creative. And we obviously in a time of crisis like COVID, you know, it's kind of common sense that most people would stop spending their money on luxuries of dining out and that type of food, and more go to home cooking because it's more economical.
Yeah.
So we figured, the demand is shifting to groceries. Why don't we turn ourselves into grocery markets and get restaurant quality and specialty items out to the community that they normally couldn't find at a supermarket as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And are these specialty items that you guys obviously put into your own food items, right? So it's
That-
special for you guys.
yeah, it's a combination. So a lot of the offerings that we have are stuff that we already stock in the restaurant that goes into some of our dishes, right? Like a specific type of pasta, stuff like that. But then because we're getting busy and a lot of demand for other items, we started inputting a lot of other offerings that we normally don't hold in the restaurant. For example, like we sell, this is a funny example, but we sell toothpaste now, right? Toilet paper.
Oh, no way. That's
We
amazing.
expanded our offering, but the highest volume ones the highest demand ones have been like stuff, a lot of baking goods, like
Got it.
flour, whole wheat flour, yeast. So
Yep.
right now, because we're in the restaurant supply chain, for example, with flour, we get like a 50-pound bag of flour in, right?
Yep.
Then we reportion manually that 50-pound bag of flour into 5 and 1 pound bags and sell them as 5-pound bags and 1-pound bags. And we use the West Third location as a repacking and distribution hub. So we repack everything there, which is like 30, 40 products, from flour to sugar to pasta, beans, etc., rice.
Yep.
And then we deliver out to the other 2 locations from West Third. So that's how we're doing everything right now. An interesting story that I want to tell you about. A week into doing the pop-up market at Playa, we actually had a health inspector come in and shut us down from the health department.
Wow.
And they shut us down for citing, for not having the proper and in quote grocery permit. So obviously we try to have a back and forth conversation with the inspector, like, come on, it's we're in coronavirus here, right? We're getting much needed supplies out to the neighborhood. We're trying to survive ourselves.
Yep.
What can we do here? What is it we can do to allow us to continue operating this way? And the local health department office actually, because really they don't have the authority, but they weren't really willing to work with us at the very beginning. They were just kind of giving us the answer, well, you guys don't have a grocery permit, so it's kind of end of conversation. So I didn't really accept that answer because I was a little bit angry at the time.
Yep.
And I just wanted to have a back and forth conversation with them, and let's find a solution together to this thing.
Yep.
So we got some support from the community, a lot of support from the community through petitions, etc. And we got put in touch with first Councilman Mike Bonan's office, who we've applied Del Rey Falls in his district. So I started talking with the councilman's office. They led me to the county commissioner's office, which led me to Garcia's office, which led me to the deputy director of County of Public Health's office, who is the head honcho in this thing. We also got a lot of support. The president of the National Restaurant Association got a lot of media around it too, so he caught wind of what was happening, took our case up personally, and was the liaison between us and County Public Health. And we actually worked with the County Public Health to come up with new guidelines for restaurants to operate as pop-up markets during this COVID period, to not only get Bacari back up and running, but all restaurants in LA County.
Wow.
So from the moment we got shut down to the moment those new guidelines were sent down by the deputy director, was about 5 days. So it was about 5 days of conversation and pushing, and eventually those new guidelines came down, and now all restaurants in LA County are able to operate as grocery markets, I guess until further notice.
Wow. So everyone should be thanking you in the LA County, at least it sounds like. I mean,
well, I'm not really looking for the thanks. It's not why we were doing it.
no, of course not. But that's amazing.
Right. Yeah, I'm proud that we led the conversation. But really,
Yeah.
probably the reason why we led the conversation is because we were one of the first ones to open up as a pop market, thus being the first one to get shut down. So It was just a matter of timing. But it was great. It was great to be part of that conversation and come up with a solution.
Got it.
Because restaurants in LA all over the county are doing this to survive right now. So
Absolutely. Well, I hope you don't mind if I'll call you Misfit for doing that, right? That's definitely that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool, and it obviously since you got into the whole restaurant space initially, and I know this is obviously a long time ago, but you obviously you went to USC. I did myself obviously undergrad. While you were at USC, you started a restaurant concept called Paladar, which was technically speaking also illegal at the time, right? What you were doing. There's videos online about you through YouTube that have over 1 million views about this concept you started. I mean, it was kind of an infamous thing. So it sounds like obviously you're not used to saying no, letting someone tell you no. It sounds like you've kind of worked your way around a lot of things, and it's kind of in your human nature, I guess, right? Would you say so?
Yeah, to a certain degree. I mean, I think it's
Yeah.
I think it's like a personality type, right? I'm just like the type of person who uh, likes to break rules, but I don't mean laws. I don't mean I don't break laws.
Yeah.
I'm not that type of person. But I like to find my own path, get around certain roadblocks that are there,
Yeah.
and find a way around them. Uh, I've been that way since I was a kid. Like for example, like driving in traffic, I'm the type of person who finds every single way to get around that traffic and not sit in it. Right?
Yeah.
It's like a personality type to some degree.
And
Uh,
I think everyone right now really needs that. I mean, honestly, because obviously, we serve restaurants in 3 different countries, and it's one of those things where we've heard almost every story you can imagine of people trying to climb out of this. But also, you have a lot of people that just chosen to just give up, not even give it a shot. Obviously, you not only gave it a shot, but you guys are doing well, and even with some roadblocks from the city itself, you've been able to navigate around that, and I think that's fantastic. I mean, that's something I think a lot of more people, if they had that kind of mindset, could find a lot more success, especially given the time period we're all in right now, right?
right.
Um,
Right.
but if you don't mind kind of giving us a little background about also, Robert, about what you guys did while at USC with Paladar, because I think it's such a cool story. And obviously, I think for so many other restaurant owners, they always have they had a dream to start a restaurant, or they fell into it as a family business. But for you, and I know this is a family business with your brother, but you also got it started before it even was a real business at USC as a student. Can you talk to us about how that idea came about, and how that actually happened for you guys?
Sure, sure. Also, shameless plug, shameless plug. There is a documentary filmed on us called Paladar that you can rent and watch on iTunes. So I'm just going to plug that before I start, if that's
Yeah,
okay.
and we'll be giving a link for that
Okay.
below this video as well.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was at SC, I was a sophomore. Um, I was living with this guy out who's a great friend of mine now. His name's Alex Chang. He's a chef in LA now. We were living together, very interested in food just in general. And very casually, we were having just friends over on Thursday nights over at our apartment because, this, nobody has class on Friday. So Thursday night's kind of the party night, right? So
Yep.
we would just have, a group of guy friends over, a few girls over, just for like a super casual dinner, right? We were doing that. And this was before it turned into Paladar. And just cooking a pretty, at least what we thought in our heads, a simple. And it just we were doing that for a couple months. So like the first time we had friends over, we maybe had like, I don't know, I can't remember now, a group of 6 or 8 people over, right? Fast forward a couple months of just having people over, there was 30, 40 people showing up at our apartment for free food, right? Because friends would tell friends, hey, can I bring this person? Can I bring this group of girls, right? That whole thing. So when it got to that point, really, Alex and I were like, all right, well, number one, we don't feel like feeding 40 people for free out of our pocket, number one. Number two, obviously people are responding positively to this, like what we're doing. And if we charge them a fair price, we think back. That's, again, very simple idea. Started simple. So we formalized it a little bit more, though, because when it was casual, it'd just be people sitting around our living room eating on the couch and everything.
Yeah.
So we decided to formalize it, kind of turn it into more of like a restaurant or an underground restaurant. So, we got tables and chairs, tablecloths, candles, light dimmers, et cetera, et cetera. And we decided to formalize the menu where it'd be a three-course meal, appetizer, entree, and dessert that changed every single weekend, and we do it every Thursday night. And we charge $15 for it, which was very reasonable. So we started with that idea. The first dinner we served, I remember it was 12 people. We started small. fast forward 2 years later, second semester, senior year, every Thursday night, we're doing 70 people.
Oh my God.
And sometimes operating, well, actually second semester, senior year, almost every week we're operating Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday out of our apartment serving 70 diners.
No way.
So we, over time, but it got a little crazy.
Wow.
But yeah, that's where it started. And we just built it up over time, built up the email list, word of mouth, and focused on the food, focused on service. You know, it got a lot more complex to that in certain areas, but
I'm sure
that was basically the gist of it.
That is amazing. Well, I mean, this is so cool. I mean, you talk about like, you know, USC obviously is known for like the Trojan family and how close the community is and awesome. Like this is the coolest thing I think I've ever heard from the Trojan family. You know, it's such a cool thing.
Yeah. Well, one thing I forgot to mention too, it was BYOB also. So, you know, people could bring their own alcohol. You know, like a group of guys would bring a 24-pack of beer, right, with their dinner. A group of girls would bring a handle of vodka, right? And then eventually, I can't remember at what point, but eventually we started selling drinks too and had our own cocktail menu as well.
No way.
And then if, like, let's say a group of girls came with a handle of vodka, we charge them for mixers. So I found ways for us to get more revenue.
Got it.
Over and above that $15 price tag throughout the time. So,
and obviously, I'm assuming it was just USC students, right?
Actually, not. No. Well, it was just USC students up until at the time. There was a really popular food blog. I don't know if he still is today, but it was called KevinEats.com. It was this guy who went to USC.
Got it.
Alex, my roommate, actually reached out to him directly. Said, "Hey, we're doing this thing out of our apartment. Come and check out the food." So he came, and he had dinner at our spot on a Thursday night, completely surrounded by college students.
Oh my God.
You know, he's probably in his 30s.
Yeah.
And he wrote a big piece on us on his blog. And after that, we were getting a lot of reservations from just regular people, you know, regular LA diner people. So I started to kind of squeeze them into the mix. So by senior year, it was probably 15-20% outside people, and the rest were USC students.
That is so cool. And was it? How did you guys process payments? Was it cash only? Did you guys have a POS system? How did that work?
Yeah, no, it was cash only.
Cash only, yeah.
You know, this was before Venmo and like
totally
that type of stuff. So, and I didn't want to take credit card. Like, we didn't want that much of a paper trail, so we just took cash only. That's how it worked.
Absolutely. That is so cool. And what about reservations? How did you guys do that? Was it just like call us your cell phone number and you were taking paper and pen reservations?
Yeah. So what we would do is every Sunday night or early Monday morning, we would send out an email to our email list, and we'd send out the menu, and I'd do a little write-up about it. And basically, whoever responded to the email, I would take reservations based on who emailed me back first, right? So we take
Got it.
Or text. I'd let them text also.
Cool.
So that's how I take reservations. And then again, by senior year, as soon as I'd send out that email, we'd probably sell out all the seats probably in 3 minutes.
Wow.
Like
wow.
Yeah,
and that is so cool. Cause I've always known about this story, obviously, but I haven't, you know, the operations behind how it all worked. That is really amazing. If you don't mind me asking, do you remember as far as like financials went, how you guys were doing it on a typical night?
Yeah. Of course, at the beginning, when it was just a small amount of people, we weren't making much. But once things started to ramp up and we started selling out every single time, Alex and I would walk away with probably like I remember like around $400 to $450 each per dinner, which was pretty good.
Totally.
While we're in college, it kicked fucking ass, to be honest with you. We were really, really happy about that as college students.
No, that's huge. I mean, 100%, $500 on one night as a college student, that is like the biggest win in the world. And if you're hanging out with a bunch of your friends and a bunch of girls also serving dinner, Hey, that's even better, right?
Oh yeah, it was
So
loads of fun, loads of fun. But I'll tell you, man, it was very. When I look back on it now, uh, I can't believe we pulled it off. Like I wouldn't be able to do it again today, simply just energy wise. You know, like I was 20 years old. I was doing Paladar. I was working at Baccarat with my brother. I
yep.
had an internship. I had a very active social life, so I was partying also. It
Yeah.
was like it was on all the time. Like I didn't get very much sleep. It was just like my body was going through the ringer.
That
It
is
was
so
crazy.
awesome.
Yeah.
That is so awesome. Wow. And do you, I mean, obviously, like, again, a lot of restaurants that obviously we've come across is someone had worked in the restaurant space previously, finally they saved enough money to open up their own restaurant, or they were inspired through a family or whatever. Obviously, you were inspired through your brother to get into the restaurant space initially, but then you actually had your own experience running your own restaurant, underground restaurant at USC. That is just so cool. I mean, it's just, and I think a lot of restaurants that are fully operating, obviously, and not underground, right? I mean, I think they could benefit from just the idea of what you did. I mean, you were able to accomplish a lot of things that a lot of fully functioning restaurants haven't been able to accomplish. I mean, sell out reservations within a few minutes of sending out an email or text blast. That's something I think so many restaurants even today that are fully operational could only dream of. So you guys had it on lock, it sounds like. Um, so cool, so amazing.
Thank you. Thank
Um, do you any of your old classmates or former customers at Paladar are they big fans today of Bacari?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. A good group, especially the ones who still live in LA. When I'm on the floor at a bakery, like, I'll see them eating at a bakery, um, different locations around the city. Or, a lot of them will just shoot me a text like, "Hey, I'm going in the bakery tonight if you're around," something like that. So
Nice.
yeah, that definitely happens. Yeah. I made a lot of friendships and a lot of good relationships through Paladar as well. There are a couple of people who would come to Paladar every single week for 2 years.
Yeah.
Um, and because they were such great customers, I would let them know ahead of time when the email was coming out.
Yep.
Um, you know, I so I did in certain areas, where I found necessary or appropriate, uh, would uh, push people to the top of the line. Or for example, if somebody couldn't get a reservation for like 3 or 4 weeks straight,
Yep.
actually, I one time somebody sent me an email, a really angry email and text, saying like, "Hey man, like I've been trying to get in the Palandar for 4 or 5 weeks. This is such bullshit. You never take my reservation. Blah 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 blah." So when I got that text, I put a policy in place that if you weren't able to get a reservation 4 weeks in a row, I put you to the front of the line the next week.
Got it.
So it's just learning things like that. You learn customer service.
Yeah.
I was learning how to deal with customers and what's okay, what's not okay. That whole relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's such an early age, obviously. That is amazing. In fact, wow. I mean, and again, this is something that only I think a lot of restaurants could dream about. Someone getting mad that they wouldn't take their business, right? Um,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a great problem to have. You have too many customers, you can't take everyone. That's something again a lot of restaurants could only dream of, right?
Right.
Um,
Right.
as far as it really sounds like obviously you are a natural born restaurant owner. You obviously mastered your craft. You guys now have again 4 locations, Bacari, 1 Nature's Brew location. What do you see as kind of like the future of your guys' business? Are you guys looking to continue expanding, or what's that look like?
Yeah. So we were actually right in the middle of opening up 2 new spots right when COVID hit. So we were in.
Mm,
We actually had a signed lease on a new location for a bakery. I was also looking for locations and making moves on one for an entirely new brand that I'm launching.
got
Uh,
it.
so we're continuously growing. We love new projects. We get bored, right, if we're sitting around for too long.
Hmm.
Uh, so what excites me when I come to work is what's new, what's on the horizon, how are we growing, what's the next project. Um, so yeah, we that was in the works until COVID hit. So we're kind of on pause right now
Got it.
until further notice.
Got it. Got it. So, okay. So again, you have one location that closed down that's near USC. You got your three others that are open and are fully pop-up markets. Talk to us about how did you get the word out of this conversion to the pop-up market, and how are you currently marketing this concept?
Initially, pretty strong word of mouth.
Yep.
Pretty strong word of mouth. Of course, word of mouth is the strongest form of marketing. Um, that was very helpful.
Yep.
Also, one thing I've discovered and learned a lot about during COVID is the Nextdoor app. Have you ever used Nextdoor app?
I haven't actually.
Are
No.
you familiar with
What
it?
is that? No. What is that?
Okay. I, especially for you guys at Misfit, I think it's definitely something you should put into your wheelhouse in terms of what you offer for your clients. Okay, so Nextdoor app, I'm sure some of the listeners out there know what it is. It's basically a neighborhood watch on your phone, right? So like an old school neighborhood watch where neighbors would get together, talk about what's happening in the neighborhood, blah, 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 all the problems, issues. Next app, it's based, and then it puts you in a feed of all your neighbors around you, right? So you wake up, look at the feed, and one person will be like, hey, like, please have your dog stop pooping on my lawn. Or, hey, I heard a helicopter last night. Or what happened with that car crash?
Got it.
Or people are like, hey, I'm walking dogs. Or in COVID, it's like, hey, I'm doing this to help healthcare workers. And then everybody pitches in. So it's a very active and engaged audience.
Interesting.
So I have gone on Nextdoor app because I live next to our West Hollywood location, so I'm technically in the neighborhood, right? So I went on personally. My brother is near the Glendale one, and one of our manager in Playa del Rey lives in Playa del Rey. So we're all on Nextdoor app posting about the pop-up market, right? So I go on there and say, hey guys, hey neighbors, my name is Robert Cronfley. I'm one of the owners of Bacari. You may know us as a restaurant, but we've turned into a pop-up market. You know, we're offering all the supplies out to the neighborhood. Here's a link to order. We do curbside, same day curbside pickup, same day delivery, right? Because right now, pickup and delivery through Instacart and supermarkets, 10-day lead time.
Wow.
So we're doing same day delivery and pickup. And then dude, I got hundreds and hundreds of messages and comments on my post about that, right?
Oh
What
my
do you guys
God.
carry, this and that. So like I'm constantly in contact with people on Nextdoor app, sending me personal messages and both on the feed, answering their questions and stuff like that. Very engaged audience. So I've learned that whenever we open up a new restaurant, we are on Nextdoor app right away, letting the neighborhood know we're open. You can also run ads on Nextdoor app, and I'm actually in the process of researching that right now. I'm going to probably start running ads in the next couple of days. But Nextdoor app has been awesome. It's been a really good way to spread the word.
Wow. And so I mean, again, I've never heard of it. This is fantastic. So it's basically an app where you can post and it only goes out to people in your surrounding area within a few miles or something, I'm assuming? Or how close is the proximity that people see it?
Yeah, it depends on the neighborhood. But like based on your zip code, basically when you sign up, it connects you with different neighborhoods around you, and it tells you how many zip codes and what the population is and stuff like that.
Got it.
Yeah, it's been great. But look, it's mostly, and this is a testament as to probably why you don't know about it. I didn't really know about it that well either. It's mostly older people, right?
Got it.
Sorry, and I don't mean older people. I mean basically people who are married with kids and up, right? A lot of younger single people and stuff aren't on Nextdoor app because they don't have very much use for it. But like, family with kids are on Nextdoor app talking about things in the neighborhood and stuff like that. So it doesn't really get a younger audience. You have to use Instagram and stuff like that for younger audience. But for that middle age to older audience, it's like very, very engaged.
Wow. That is so cool. And the fact that they run ads, I mean, we here at Misfit got to get on that. I mean, that's amazing.
No, outside of this interview, I was gonna call you or Jason the next couple of days and let you know about Nextdoor app if you didn't. And to offer that to your clients, I'm telling you, it's huge.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously, what we primarily focus on Facebook and Instagram for our ads, but always looking at new platforms. I was looking at actually TikTok recently. Not too huge of a fan of it doing quite yet, but I'm definitely looking into it. But Nextdoor app sounds even better. So that's so cool.
Yeah, just sign up for Nextdoor app in your neighborhood and just start seeing what happens. A lot of the stuff's hilarious.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's like addicted to it in a way, because there's so many funny stories on there. Like, hey, like, has anybody else seen that elderly naked couple walking in the morning? Who are they? Like stuff like that pops in the feed,
Have you ever heard of Yik Yak?
No.
So that was something, even while I was at school at USC my last year, it sounds familiar, but it sounds like Nextdoor app is a little more proactive, and talking about actual real life things, where Yik Yak was kind of like a local rumors app type thing.
Right.
I had a friend in college that got some pretty bad stuff on that. So pretty bad talk. But anyway, Robert, this is really cool. That's super informative. So guys, yeah, restaurant owners out there, if you're listening to this, check out the Nextdoor app. You know if it's only available in the US, or is it, do you know anything about that? If it's worldwide yet or no?
I'm not sure.
Okay. At least US based, I'm assuming. Restaurant around the world, maybe look into it. But this is really cool. So obviously you've converted your restaurants into this pop-up market. You had such an amazing start in this space with Haldar. And it sounds like obviously you're adapting, you're changing, you're looking at new technologies with Nextdoor app. That is so cool. Do you guys? Obviously, no one really knows when COVID's going to be quite over yet. Do you guys have any plans to make adjustments to what you're currently doing with the pop-up market to start serving your menu again? Are you guys looking to open up the menu anytime soon, or waiting until basically COVID's over?
Well, so the only thing we started plugging in terms of prepped food wise, we're doing like home cooked, like family meal type of things. Again, something that there'll be a little bit more of a demand for during this time. So, like a whole roasted chicken dinner, whole roasted prime rib dinner, with veggie sides and stuff like that. So we started plugging that stuff in. And, we're waiting to see, we're supposed to hear from the governor hopefully next week. He's been talking about gradually opening up businesses, right? And obviously part of that is restaurants. And he threw out the number, 25% of capacity, of your seating capacity, 50% of your seating capacity. So whatever he comes out with, right? So let's just say hypothetically, he says 25% of your seats. We have to sit down and make a mathematical decision, right? Whether it's worth it for us. What would it be more worth it for us to open up with 25 seats, or to continue doing the pop-up market? Yeah. But it's also possible that when the governor comes down and says you can open up as a restaurant again, no matter how many seats, that county of public health will say, oh, okay, now that you guys can be open up as a restaurant again, you're not allowed to do market anymore, right? I don't know if that will happen, but it's very possible. So everything is day to day. As the news comes out, we make decisions based on that, right? So, we can't really make any assumptions. We can't make any predictions. We just kind of take it day by day and make the best decisions we can from there.
Got it. And it sounds like your employees have adjusted pretty well to this. Sounds like they're all on board, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, we came out, when we came up with the idea, we were very energetic about it. Yeah. And that kind of passed down onto our staff, right? If we were moping around and playing victim and I can't believe this is happening to us. Oh, COVID. It's just not. I just don't believe it's the right thing to do. So yeah, we'd rather stay positive, stay active, keep our brains moving, keep our bodies moving, and the staff that we have been able to hire back have been right on board, just as energetic with us, and everybody's putting in their full effort.
Yeah, I love it. And I think that's huge. That's a really, really massive point you brought up is if you're energetic about it, so will your employees be. If you're mopey about it and you feel bad for yourself, they're all going to feel bad too. Everyone is scared right now. And so you, as the leader of your business, cannot be scared. You have to be energetic, be excited, you have to be proactive about how we can change, how we can adapt, and how we can thrive during COVID. Well, Robert, I think this has been really, really awesome today. I'm so glad we went over so much. I really, really appreciate it. I think our listeners got a ton of value today. Guys, again, check out that app. It's called Nextdoor app. I'll be checking it out right after this phone call. And maybe I'll be making a purchase at Bacari for some market goods later on this evening or tomorrow.
I appreciate the support.
Absolutely, Robert. Hey, well, great chatting with you, and we'll be in touch soon.
Thanks for having me on, guys. All right. Talk
All righty.
soon.
See you, Robert. Thank you.